Good Thursday morning. It's May 29th, 2025. You found us on the Weather Desk. I'm Meteorologist Craig Moeller, broadcasting from the 13 News Now studios in Southeast Virginia and Northeast North Carolina. We serve Norfolk, Hampton. Really, you head over to Virginia Beach, down through the Outer Banks. We've got this entire region, we call it Hampton Roads, covered, and we're going to get into what we're talking about on today's edition of the Weather Desk. Finally, here in Hampton Roads, Southeast Virginia, Northeast North Carolina, a little bit of a break from the rain. We had a lot yesterday, 3/4 of an inch at Norfolk International. We're ready for a break, but it's not going to last. We've got more rain in the forecast. Let's take a look at our weather topics today, what we're going to tackle here at the desk. And we're going to start off with a look at some storm damage from Texas. We've got some flooding, some wind damage down there across parts of the Lone Star State. We've got the severe weather outlook coming up over the next 3 days. We'll talk about the storm chances today, tomorrow, and into Saturday. Some parts of the country under the gun, including Hampton Roads right here across Southeast Virginia. As we take a look at the tropical update, we've got action in the East Pacific. Tropical depression number 1. I'll show you where it is and where it's headed, how the models have shifted a little bit since yesterday. And we're going to talk about the Atlantic season as well. While things are quiet, it's about to start as we go in the next couple of days. June 1 coming up on Sunday, and that will be the official start of the Atlantic hurricane season. Saharan dust, you hear us talk about it from time to time. How does it impact the tropics and the tropical activity in the Atlantic basin? We'll have a special story coming up on that. And then we're going to check in on Kilauea. You take a look at the Big Island in Hawaii and some of the activity there earlier this week. The fountains of lava spewing were incredible. We'll show you a little bit of that, give you a live update, show you what's happening right now with the volcano, and then we'll talk about when the next eruptions are expected. There's a cycle going on, and geologists and folks studying the volcanoes out there, they are kind of timing all that out and have a pretty good feel on when they think it's really going to light up again. So a lot to check in on over with Kilauea. We also have the potential for some strong storms here in Hampton Roads. I'll break all of that down in full detail. I wanted to start off very quickly. We won't need to spend a lot of time on this. This is the newly updated drought monitor across the country. And the bottom line, when you compare today's drought monitor, the one that just released at 8:30, to the one that we had last week, very little has changed. Still looking at extreme to exceptional drought across parts of the southwest U.S., including parts of Texas and back through West Texas into the southeast part of Arizona and New Mexico there, the southwest part of New Mexico. There have been some minor changes between severe and extreme drought across parts of Nebraska up into the Dakotas. Very little change here. Down in Florida, still we have extreme drought on the Gulf side, South Florida there. And then in our area, very little change, almost no change really for Hampton Roads. We're still doing okay, and we've had our rain off and on. Still moderate drought down around the Albemarle Sound. So I just wanted to start off with that quickly because that just came out 34 minutes ago, and I wanted to make sure you had it right here from the Weather Desk. Now, as we take a look at where it's raining at this time, we've got showers back across Alabama into Georgia. A few heavier downpours down across southern parts of Mississippi, extending into southern Louisiana as well. Line of showers and storms really weakening and fizzling with some rain pushing from Kansas into Missouri. Some wet weather back across the Northeast. Much of the Intermountain West pretty quiet right now, looking good. There's some more wet weather coming into the Pacific Northwest. As we stop it here, I want to put the winds on and the surface features. You can see we've got this frontal boundary kind of draped across the central part of the country, another area of low pressure around Oklahoma. We had this little front come through, and temperatures are actually warming up because we're getting some peaks of sunshine today. I expect highs in the mid to upper 70s. Yesterday, we were in the lower to mid 70s, and we did have a lot of rain yesterday. As I mentioned, 3/4 of an inch in Norfolk. So we've got this kind of little messy frontal system here. We're actually catching a break today in Hampton Roads, but more wet weather set to come later tonight and tomorrow. And as I mentioned, we've got that next system coming into the Pacific Northwest. Let's take you back a little bit in time here and look at the storms that erupted across Texas. Okay, we're going to take a look at that. And again, while we're looking at least improving conditions right now, it was a different situation as we take a look. Parts of the country are cleaning up after being hit by the severe weather. This is a look at damage near Austin, Texas, after storms rolled through the overnight. First responders had to rescue several people from floodwaters early this morning. At least one person still missing in that flooding. Strong winds also brought down a gas station. At least part of it fell on a car. You can see that gas station canopy. No word on if anyone here was hurt, but you can see again those winds can catch those canopies and do a lot of damage. The wind also damaged Austin Bergstrom International Airport. It caused glass doors to shatter. Again, fortunately there, no one was hurt, but you clearly see that there's been a lot of rough weather down across parts of Texas, and those flooding rains around that underpass as well. All right, we're going to talk about what's coming up and still the potential for some flash flooding. It's possible. There's no real area outlook for likely flash flooding at this point, but you can see across Texas, southern Oklahoma, Louisiana, back into Arkansas, southern Missouri, southern parts of the Ohio River Valley, back through Kentucky, Tennessee River Valley, down across the deep south, and even here into the mid-Atlantic. There's at least a chance that we could see some excessive rainfall. Now, I will tell you, for Hampton Roads in our area here, the chances for the heavier rain, it's not today, it's going to be tonight as we get some heavier storms developing, maybe late in the evening, and then overnight some more rain expected. So I'm going to be busy tracking that early through the morning hours tomorrow, and then eventually things will kind of reset a little bit with another round of potential strong to severe storms later Friday. You'll notice for Friday there is a likelihood of excessive rainfall and potential flash flooding from Kentucky across West Virginia into northern Virginia and Maryland. This does include the D.C. area. For our area across central parts of Virginia, there's that level 1 or possibility, that level of possible excessive rainfall. And for Hampton Roads, again, not expecting quite as great a chance, but we're going to be looking for some of that heavier rain just off to the north. As you can see, looking ahead, we're going to see the potential for severe storms as well. Again, down across parts of Texas and the southeast coastline, we've got that slight risk, level 2 threat for South Carolina and Georgia, and back across the heart of Texas, there is that chance for those stronger storms. So what are the main impacts? Well, you'll notice as we take a look here at our Thursday outlook, and I do want to check something. Let me take this full real quick because I just noticed something here. This just updated from the Storm Prediction Center, and we've had, this level 2 threat earlier this morning, and I'm just zooming in here because it looks like the Storm Prediction Center has just moved to expand this area up into the extreme south side. It's level 1, so again, could there be a stray severe storm later tonight? There could be. We're going to be watching for that this evening, but it's a level 1 threat now across the southern tier. When I came in earlier this morning, it went right up to the state line, so it looks like the Storm Prediction Centers maybe bumped that another, say, 10, 15 miles or so north of where their level was before kind of cutting off. So that's what's out there right now. All right, we're going to take a look at the types of severe weather we have. Again, across Lubbock and San Angelo, down in Texas, you've got that potential for some stronger storms. Charleston down through Jacksonville, Florida, chances for severe storms. The tornado potential, it's a little bit greater here over West Texas. You get to that second kind of level when you look at the tornado potential. So you've got these elevated risks down along the Gulf Coast, back across southern Missouri into northeast Arkansas, Memphis area, places like Paducah, Kentucky, these areas here into western Tennessee, and then right along the coast here, Georgia, the Savannah area, and up into coastal sections of South Carolina as well. These areas, an elevated risk for some potential rotation or tornadic development. It's this area right here in west central Texas that has that next level of 5% of development within 25 miles of any point there in the orange. So we'll watch that. We also have strong wind potential, and there again you see the greatest chances in these darker blue areas, and it's just a level 2 threat. We've seen higher threats than that before. As we take a look at the hail potential, now for Hampton Roads, again, this area, northeast North Carolina, the hail potential is greater down to the south. So I think we're in good shape there. As we take a look back across West Texas, so I want to draw your attention to that hashed area. And again, places like Lubbock, back through Abilene and San Angelo, we do have the potential for larger diameter, 2-inch or larger hail in some of these areas. And this extends that hail threat out towards Waco. It's not quite as great around Dallas, but you really focus on this area here for the larger hail potentially. So just wanted to share that with you. Now, as we look forward with the severe storm threat, we'll go into tomorrow. And this is what we really wanted to talk some more about, because parts of Hampton Roads and a lot of our viewership here on the Weather Desk is from folks right here in Southeast Virginia and Eastern North Carolina. So I do want to take a little more time to talk about that. You see the severe weather threat. It's level 2 from Southern Virginia, including parts of Hampton Roads, down through Central North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Pretty good size area here. We'll get into the threats in just a moment. I want you to see for the western parts of the 13 News Now viewing area, the broadcast viewing area, you can see this does include western Chesapeake, basically right up to the edge of the Portsmouth border. It looks like Portsmouth and Norfolk still level 1. Most of Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, the eastern shore, the northern neck, and parts of the Middle Peninsula under level 1. But when you come to Gloucester, that's a big part of the Middle Peninsula there, they're under level 2. The peninsula from Poquoson and York back across Newport News and right up to the edge of Hampton, that's where that level 2 begins. Williamsburg, James City County, and then again, areas out to the west. Suffolk, you head into Isle of Wight, Franklin, Southampton, these areas into North Carolina, Gates County, Hertford, Bertie, out through Northampton, even the western parts of Chesapeake under this level 2 threat. So this is what we're going to be watching, and you can see again the tornadic threat greater out to the west along I-95. It's still just that first level. Again, let's take this full, and I'm going to expand the view and show you what this looks like a little farther to the south in case folks are wondering. Again, we focus a lot on Hampton Roads, but you can see the impact potential for tornadoes there extending down into Georgia. It's just that first level. Wind, same type of deal. That area a little more elevated out to the west, not as great closer to the coast. And again, hail, we don't have any hashed areas here for the large hail potential, but you do see that extends again all the way down through the southeast U.S. So that's what's happening with the severe weather outlook for day 2. That's Friday, and the best chances for those storms, they're going to be late Friday afternoon and Friday evening here in Hampton Roads. We're talking between 3 and 10. I'll show you more on that in a moment. Looking ahead to Saturday, this is a new development as well. We've now been put into a level 1 threat. So again, not as great, but there's a lot of outdoor activities like the Blackbeard Festival up in Hampton. Folks are going to want to pay close attention. Got a call from the owners of Cova Brewing, and they were asking, they've got a big live concert planned out there. It's an outdoor activity, and they were asking about the severe weather threat. And I'll be talking to them over the weekend about their threat of those storms coming up. So just stay weather aware. That's the main thing. That level 1 threat for Saturday does include the entire 13 News Now viewing area. All right, we're going to get you updated on the hurricane season and our tropical update, and we're going to take a look across the Atlantic Basin. Things are quiet. There's no tropical activity expected over the next 7 days. You think about it, the start of the season coming up on Sunday. So we're almost into June, and that marks the beginning. Right now, the Gulf is quiet. The Caribbean looks good, and across the main development region, the main basin there, everything looking good. This is a different story, though. Here we have our developing tropical depression. This is Tropical Depression 1E in the Eastern Pacific, and that is likely to become Alvin. I checked right before the start. We haven't had any intermediate update. The last update was as of 5 o'clock. Now, the models are now bringing it northwest, but are going to turn it to the north, and it's interesting because a couple days ago, they were really kind of coming in here and weakening it. It is still forecast to interact with some cooler water up here and lose its strength before really impacting land or coming up into, the Baja region. But Cabo San Lucas could see some wind, a little bit of rain, so maybe some heavier tropical rain depending on where exactly that tracks, and that is going to be something of interest. Here is the official Hurricane Center forecast on this. And again, you see the cone of uncertainty, how it widens out a little bit, may reach Cabo, may be just off to the east of it. Keep in mind, again, the center of this is where the Hurricane Center has the most likely track, but that uncertainty goes out. So if you're anywhere around this track, or if you're going to be vacationing anywhere in this area or have friends down there, just be mindful. And again, you see how it's forecast to become Alvin with winds of 60 miles per hour. And then as it moves over that cooler water up in here, it's likely to weaken, hopefully just producing breezy conditions with some rain there as we go late Sunday into Monday. Doesn't look like a big damaging threat to Mexico, but it is something we will, of course, keep a close eye to. Now, as I mentioned, our season begins June 1, and as we look across the basin, things are pretty quiet. There are a number of things that go into our hurricane kind of development where we see storms develop. Sometimes it's wind shear that knocks them back, but sometimes there's dust that comes off of Africa. We talk about this Saharan dust and Saharan dust clouds, how they come off the coast and come into the area. Well, Chief Meteorologist Tim Pandages has an explanation of how all of this plays.
Each year, as the Atlantic hurricane season begins, a powerful atmospheric feature makes its presence known: dust. Not just any dust, but a vast plume from the Sahara Desert, traveling thousands of miles across the Atlantic. This is the Saharan air layer, and it plays a surprising role in shaping weather and supporting ecosystems. Now, NOAA defines SAL, or Saharan air layer, as a hot, dry, dusty air mass that forms over the Sahara from late spring to early fall. Now, like clockwork, monsoonal storms over Africa's Sahel region lifts huge amounts of dust in the atmosphere. Strong upper-level winds then carry the dust westward across the Atlantic, forming a distinct layer. This dry air suppresses hurricane development by starving storms of moisture and tearing apart developing systems, often keeping the tropics quiet early in the season. Now, eventually, the dust transport fades or shifts, allowing storms to form more freely. But the SAL isn't just about storms. The dust is actually rich in iron and nutrients, fertilizing the Atlantic and fueling phytoplankton blooms, the base of the marine food chain. Some of it even reaches the Amazon, replenishing rainforest soil. It also contributes to stunning sunrises and sunsets. However, dense dust plumes can lower air quality across the Caribbean and southern U.S., and this tends to aggravate respiratory problems for those sensitive individuals and sensitive groups. Now, as we track the tropics this season, keep an ear out for Saharan dust, already showing up in satellite imagery, right on schedule. For 13 News Now, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tim Pandages.
Looks like we had a little freeze up there. That's okay. We're taking a look right now at the tropics. And again, you don't see any significant cloud cover, but we do have some modeling that picks up the dust there. I'll take you across the Central America area and then back over into the Pacific, because we're going to talk next about Hawaii. And while there's nothing tropical bearing down here, I can show you the skies are mainly clear over the Big Island. And as we zoom in, I want to draw your attention to the volcano. Mount Kilauea has been erupting off and on for months. And I want to give you a live look at the volcano. As you can see right now, just kind of glowing there. It's not super dramatic. It's relatively calm. The vent just glowing. But that wasn't the case just a few days ago. Check it out again. This marked the 23rd episode since late December. Those lava fountains reached up to about 1,000 feet. The U.S. Geological Survey says the volcano has been following a pattern and expects the next eruption to happen in the next 2 to 3 days. So really wild there. Geologists with the University of Hawaii have also been collecting samples after each eruption to try to better understand what's going on inside Mount Kilauea.
So what tends to happen is the pressure builds up below the summit of Kilauea, because there isn't an outlet. At some point, the magma makes it to the surface, and since it has a fair amount of trapped gas in it, it is erupted out in a fairly explosive manner. We've had fountains up to 1,000 feet high during some of the episodes. After that gas is kind of released and some of the pressure is released, then the lava comes out and tends to cap over the top, and that cycle restarts. So we're kind of in this repeatable pattern where about once a week we have an eruptive cycle, and then in between there's enough of a kind of a cap on that magma chamber to kind of start that pressure building again.
That's where we are right now. Again, that cap kind of allowing the pressure to build back up. We'll anticipate the next eruption over there. Right now, just kind of glowing and something to continue to check out. Remember, Mount Kilauea is one of the most active volcanoes in the world, so it's not causing a threat to life or to, people. They're clear of that, and they're able to study it. It's really fascinating. All right, we're going to talk about our strong thunderstorm threat and the potential for severe weather. I touched on this a little earlier. Our outlook with the greatest probability of strong thunderstorms between 3 o'clock and 10 o'clock tomorrow afternoon and evening. So we do have a weather impact alert from the 13 News Now weather team. That's for Friday afternoon and evening. We're anticipating some gusty winds and some heavy downpours. The main thing that we really recommend is that you keep an eye on the forecast and just stay weather aware. A great way to do that is by downloading the mobile news app. If you don't have that on your phone already, coming up as we finish up the weather desk, we'll put up a QR code. You can scan that code and you'll have that app available to you on your phone. It's easy, it's free, and it's a great way to stay connected. Let's talk some more about what's going to happen here in Hampton Roads over the next 9 hours. What we're going to find, temperatures warming up into the upper 70s. Look for mostly cloudy to partly sunny skies. I think it's going to be a pretty good day. Very low risk of stray showers. I'm not concerned about it this morning. I think we're looking at pretty good conditions through most of the day. As we go through the overnight, though, our chances for rain become more and more likely. Could have a few thunderstorms down to the south. Again, very low risk that they're severe, but we could get a stronger storm or two late evening or overnight, some periods of rain coming through. Tomorrow morning, wet for the morning commute, then a little bit of a lull, but these little ripples that you see in our kind of graph here showing chances to scattered storms, this is where we have the potential for the severe weather across Hampton Roads, and we need to be very mindful of that. So we've got our better chances tomorrow. We'll see some showers lingering into Saturday, and then the rain chances going down Sunday into Monday. Next week looks good. It's going to get hotter, though, if you're across Hampton Roads. Temperatures today are going to get back up into the upper 70s. We do have dry conditions this morning, looking good through noon. As we get into the afternoon, still looking pretty good. Could there be a stray shower? Yeah, there could be, but it doesn't look very likely until later tonight. You see this evening how the wet weather approaches. We go past midnight and early tomorrow, chances for more showers and storms. Looking ahead to tomorrow, later in the day, we'll need to watch as things kind of reset. And here we have those isolated stronger storms pushing through 7 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, kind of rolling off that area. Some additional ones coming through a little bit later Friday night. Those are the ones that we're more concerned with as far as being locally severe. And again, the primary threat will be gusty winds, maybe some hail with a couple of these cells. The better chances for that out to the west, and the tornadic threat really over the westernmost parts of the area and areas west. So we're not anticipating a lot of rotation at this point. Things could change over the next 24 hours. Stay tuned, and we'll keep you updated. Some more scattered wet weather coming in on Saturday. So you see the different models here, the NAM and the graph, couple of the high-res models going 1.5 inches roughly. GFS, the global U.S. model, a lot lower, but the Canadian, the Euro, both producing over an inch of rain over the next 48 hours. You see it is mostly cloudy right now. There are some breaks in the clouds. Again, it'll become partly sunny as we check out the Thompson Creek Window Company Skyview. 64 at the airport, north winds at 3 miles per hour. Heading to the beaches. Well, it's not terrible out there, but we do have a moderate threat of rip currents. Stay mindful of that. Yesterday, we had waves up to 5 and 6 feet. Today, the surf height 2 to 4. So we've gone from high threat of rip currents to moderate today. Water temperature 66, the UV index still high. Looking at the marine forecast, through 10 o'clock, we have a small craft advisory out on the ocean waters. That may be a little rough, even a little bit later than that, so check before going out. But in general, things are expected to get a little bit calmer later this afternoon and into the early evening. Of course, stray storms, not out of the question completely, so you do want to check the radar. And know that if you were planning on going out this evening and staying out later, we do have chances for storms as we go through the overnight, so showers and storms will be possible. Tree pollen and grass pollen back to moderate. It was low for the past couple of days with the rain. Now it's moderate once again. Temperatures today will top out upper 70s, maybe mid 70s around Virginia Beach. Clouds on the increase this morning, but thinning out a little bit later this morning, and then eventually should become partly sunny. Upper 70s, Hampton and Newport News, back to Williamsburg, a little cooler over to the eastern shore. As you head down to North Carolina, Edenton and Hertford around 80, 81 degrees. Our normal high for Norfolk this time of year is 80, so we've been cool for a few days now, and we will be getting warmer once again. Tonight's low down around 70, rain developing, storms possible overnight, and then tomorrow back up to 80. Some morning showers, then a break. Afternoon storms more likely late tomorrow and tomorrow evening. As for the 7-day forecast, once we get through those rough storms late tomorrow, things are going to be a little wet on Saturday, but more like scattered showers and hopefully some breaks here as well. Sunday, June 1, meteorological start of summer. Excited to get into some more summer-like weather with temperatures back in the lower to mid 80s. Folks will be hitting the pool, getting out to the beach, and enjoying the bay. So some nicer weather to look forward to. Of course, with June 1 comes the start of the Atlantic hurricane season. A reminder, the best thing you can do with the threat of storms in your area is have that 13 News Now mobile app downloaded. Promise you, look at the QR code. There it is. You can scan that with your phone right now, and you'll get the mobile app. Great way to stay in touch with our forecast, with our news operation as well. And, of course, you'll have access to the radar, which can help you plan around and navigate storms that are coming in. We want to be there for you and help get you through whatever comes down the road. That's going to do it for this edition of the Weather Desk. I hope you've enjoyed the last half hour. I certainly enjoy bringing it to you each and every day. We do it Monday through Friday right here at 13 News Now Plus, starting at 9 o'clock. Have a great Thursday and stay weather aware.